I just saw the Ant-Man movie, and while I liked it, I get the feeling that this will be the first failure for Marvel Studios since The Incredible Hulk. I went to a 5 p.m. show, and there were about maybe at most 20 people. I guess all the families went to see either Trainwreck or Minions. I feel that this film had more emotion and fun than I've seen in a while. But I think that part of the problem people will have with this film is it's not an action packed film like other superhero movies, or more specifically, Marvel Studio films. This is a heist film, and heist films like the Ocean's trilogy, The Bank Job, or the Italian Job, both of them, are more or just about the same about the setup and the pinch, executing the job itself. So there won't be as much focus on the action as there is planning the action. I figure that there are about 3 heists in this film, not including the job a younger Hank Pym just came back from at the beginning of the film. The thing is, based on past history, the general audience really doesn't care about heist films. They don't do that good at the box office. I've been seeing more and more reviews that say that nothing happens for 40 minutes and that's boring. That's not actually true. In those 40 minutes, we get the setup for the film. We see why Hank Pym is where he's at the start of the film. We also get for about a quarter of the film, it's basically character setup. We meet Scott, we see what he's up against and how he's trying to handle it. We also get a bit of his history via exposition by either people talking about him or news clippings. Characters are introduced like his new crew, Hope, his daughter Cassie, Scott's ex and her new husband, and the villain of the film, Cross. And we interact with them, and they never feel overused. The core story is about two men's redemptions for themselves and for themselves in the eyes of their daughters. That's where the emotional component of the film comes in. If you don't like the film, I think it will probably be because you don't like the characters, but I happen to like them, since we spend the vast majority of the time seeing them interact with each other. And in the beginning, we see Scott's ex's husband, and he does appear, as Scott would say, to be an asshat. But by the end of the film, you understand that he has only Cassie's and his wife's best interests at heart. Also, at first, it seems that Scott's new crew is only going to be the comedy relief, but they show later on that they're very competent at their jobs, and also they're not overused, as I said earlier. Heck, they're out of the film in the movie for about a period of 30 minutes. We don't even see them. That being said, one witness of the film is the villain Cross. In concept, he's good, but unfortunately, we don't get a lot from him about why he turned out the way he did. Maybe there's some footage or flashback to help flesh that out. I know people are going to complain that Yellow Jacket seems to be a ripoff of the Iron Man armor, but look, at this point, any humanoid suit that has technology in it is going to come off as a bootleg Iron Man. Take a good look at the comic book and anime versions of Yellow Jacket. Do you really think that would have translated well? One thing people shouldn't worry about in this film is any Deus Ex Machina. Earlier dialogue is called back in later in the film. The action in the film is great and fun and very innovative in the ways of fighting while shrinking and resizing is done well here too. Can Giant Man really be far behind? Especially when it comes to the fight between Scott and a certain new Avenger who just happens to be the perfect opponent for him to fight against. Also, this is the best use of 3D I've seen lately, and the final heist should be watched in 3D. When you see it, you'll know what I mean. I remember reading someone online writing why they won't see this film. They said that they enjoy every Marvel film, but they feel they're all the same. That's a pretty big blanket statement. Why I will say that most of the Marvel studio films have a similar tone at times. They hit certain beats. That's not necessarily a bad thing. People don't seem to have this issue when it comes to other kinds of action movies or comedy or horror and so on. Also, Marvel has changed the tone of their films as they've gone on to a point. The Incredible Hulk is a chase film. Captain America, The First Avenger is a 1940s war film. The Winter Soldier is a 70s conspiracy film. Guardians was a space epic. Ant-Man is a heist film. And next year, Doctor Strange is going to be a horror film. Other issues people have with superhero films and Marvel films in particular is that the film goer needs to see every single film in order to know what's going on in the current one. And two, that each film is set for the next film. Well, I'll tackle the first one first. I feel that's a bit of an over-exaggeration. Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, The Incredible Hulk, Cap 2, and so on. You can just walk in and enjoy them easily and get the gist of it without having to see any of the previous Marvel Studio films. And as far as each film being set for the next film, that's somewhat true, and that's part of the fun. Sometimes they are, like Cap 2 leads to Civil War, and most of the films, the ones that have the Infinity Stones anyway, are tangentially leading to Infinity War. But you know what? That's not a bad thing. This isn't the Amazing Spider-Man 2 where it's completely obvious and there's really no ending to that particular movie. You can enjoy each film as is, and they do have a beginning, middle, and an end. You don't have to watch Thor 2 in order to understand Guardians of the Galaxy, Winter Soldier, or Ant-Man. But there are something there if you want continuity between the films. Despite what people may think, this isn't an origin film. Marvel Studios in 2014 said they've stopped making origin films. This is a legacy film. In this world, Ant-Man already exists. The mantle is being passed to Scott. That's all. It does make me wonder, in about 10 years, will Cassie pick up the mantle? Maybe. A couple things I did appreciate was during the end credits and stay, because there's a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene, and also at the end of the film there's a Stan Lee cameo. All of the Ant-Man's creators were credited, as well as the writers of the film. Edgar Wright got screenwriting credit in there as well, since he worked on the film between 5 to 10 years. Parts of his script are still used in the film. Also, you need to see this film in 3D if for no other reason than the final heist. There's a water pipe, a subatomic world, and a Thomas the Tank Engine. They all play a major part in that. If I had to nitpick, and I guess I do, I would say one issue is the lack of development with Cross. Another would be the forced cursing. It doesn't seem natural in some cases. Without the cursing, this would probably be a PG film, so that's why I think the cursing is in here. It's tough to market a PG superhero film. Also, why didn't Cross not figure out that Hope was in on the pinch? Maybe the scrambled brain cells thing from the Yellow Jacket suit, perhaps? Also, when did he put on the suit before the climax? Because I don't remember him actually putting on the suit. Also, when Cross went to Cassie's home, we see no evidence of the cops before trying to stop him initially. It feels like there's a scene missing. Also, at times, the Yellow Jacket suit seemed kind of CGI, as did some of the subatomic world. My final thoughts on this is, if you don't like Marvel Studio films, then don't see this film. If you don't like superhero films, don't see this. If you don't like heist films, don't see this. But if you're looking for a straight action film with set pieces every 15 to 20 minutes, do not see this film. If you want to see an enjoyable film with a lot of heart, fun, and comedy, then see this film. Just keep this in mind though. this is a different kind of superhero movie. The general audience have said that they want something different. Well, here you go. If you don't see this film on at least the opening weekend to judge it for yourselves, then what point do the film studios have in trying something different? People can say they want diversity in their options, but if that diversity appears and no one goes to seek it out, you're just talking out on both sides of your neck.